if you want to know a cheap and easy way to help butterflies in your garden, then stick around, because in this video I'm going to show you a simple way to attract some of our more common species, but ones that I think have a pretty hard time in the wider countryside. Now today I'm going to be looking to help 3 species of butterfly in particular. Now these are ones that are common throughout the UK, and they are the large, the small and the green-veined white. Now, to those of you watching from the States, stay tuned as well, because you can also help these species with the advice I'm going to give you in this video. Because funnily enough, the cabbage white, as it's called in America, is actually the same as the small white here in the UK. And many of you will have no doubt grown up knowing cabbage whites in the UK. Well, actually, there's no such thing as a cabbage white here in the UK. This is where it gets a little bit confusing because we have the large, the green veined and the small white, all of which are associated with cabbages, as you may well have guessed, but also the brassicas, so things like broccoli, things like Brussels sprouts, and many of you would probably class the caterpillars as a common pest. Now, I hope after watching this video that maybe I might be able to change your perception on what you might see as a pest in your garden and what you might start to welcome into your garden. So without further ado, let's see how you can help these butterflies very easily. And I'm pretty sure that if you've got kids, they're going to absolutely love watching the caterpillars grow up in the very same pot that you're going to be planting these plants into. So what are we going to be using to attract them? Well, I've got myself obviously some cabbages. Now these are a few plugs that I have just found in a local garden centre. They cost pretty much pence each, so it's really not that expensive to help these butterflies in need, because a lot of them in the wider countryside, yes, they will lay on things like oilseed rape, hedge mustard, but so many of these plants are either harvested at the right time of year or the wrong time of year for the butterflies, because they may be in a larval stage, they may be in an egg stage, and they don't simply get to live out their life cycle, which is understandable when you consider our agricultural needs, the demand we have on our landscape to produce crops so that we can eat. But I think they really are struggling, because so many of our verges as well are cut down in the middle of summer, right when these caterpillars are at their peak, or they're about to go into a chrysalis, or even at their egg form. So if you can give these butterflies a safe refuge within your garden, all the better. So let's get planting. Now I've got myself about 16 plugs here. Now we don't need that many for one pot. I am going to be potting on another pot of these just to maximize the potential for larval food plants for these butterflies. So I'm going to take about 8. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to space them around the edge of the pot, just to get a feel for it, because we want this to be a nice dense arrangement. We want there to be lots of leaves for the caterpillars, because the caterpillars are going to eat the leaves, and the butterflies, when they come and they lay these eggs, are going to probably lay the eggs on the underside of the leaf. So when these butterflies turn up, because I guarantee you they will, they are going to try and land on the underside of the leaf or on the side of the leaf and curl their abdomen under and lay on the underside of the leaf. So it's really quite fascinating to watch. And things like the large white, the females will lay in often in batches of up to 100 eggs at a time. These bright little yellow eggs, these little sort of almost perfect little cylinders on the underside of the leaf with the point on top. They're fantastic to see. Because a lot of them are predated by wasp species that are going to lay their eggs, unfortunately, into these eggs. So parasitic wasps are a big problem for them. So it's almost like safety in numbers. Whereas the small white and the green vein white will lay more singularly. So I've spaced my 8 plugs around the outside of the pot, sort of a couple of inches in from the edge, but that leaves a gap in the middle, and that's for a good reason, because I want to create a bit of a pot with a difference. So not only do we want to provide the larval food plants for the caterpillars, I want to provide a nectar source and a food source for the adults when they come to lay their eggs. So this is going to bring them into the area as well as the scent of the larval food plants. So it's really like a one-stop shop for these butterflies when they come into your garden. And I say when because they will turn up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant a marjoram, or oregano, as you may know this as. And it's a fantastic plant. Obviously, it's a herb we use in our cooking, but it's also a really good nectar source. One of the best, in my opinions, in the peak of summer when these butterflies are on the wing. Now, in the UK, many of these species will have 3 broods a year. So they'll have the first brood in sort of April, May, or they'll emerge from their chrysalises in April, May time. Then they'll have kind of a June, July brood, which we're just entering now, and then they'll probably have another kind of August, September, and even into October brood later on in the year if the weather is favourable. So it's really important to provide them with a good nectar source as long as possible throughout the course of the year. So I've got a marjoram there. Obviously you can buy these as peat-free 9 centimetre plants and plugs on the Wild Your Garden online shop. So do check that out if you're looking to buy any wildflowers. And I'm just going to simply plant that in the middle. Now, what I have got in this pot is some really nice, well-drained, sandy soil from my own garden, which I'm very fortunate to have. Having since moved recently in the last couple of months, you may have seen some of the videos that I've been posting about the Georgian Wildlife Garden. If you haven't, check out the playlist. I'll put a link to that playlist at the end of this video. Where I am looking to transform an acre of garden into something really quite special for all forms of wildlife, not just butterflies, and it starts here. So that's the marjoram in the pot. Now I'm just simply going to use my finger and make a little divot, make a hole. These plugs are only small, and just press them in. Now, the important thing with any of these plants, doesn't matter whether it's the marjoram, the cabbage, they need to be planted at the same level as what their soil level finishes at within the pot, within the tray, whatever they've been grown at. If you plant them too deep, it can rot the stem off, and if you don't plant them deep enough, then the top part of the root structure can dry out and it can do them not a world of good. So I'm just literally making a hole, spacing those out as they were, and poking them in. Now, as I was just saying, this well-drained soil here is lovely. You can, of course, use compost. If you are using compost, I would strongly urge you to use peat-free compost, because it really does help our peat bogs and our wetlands, where we are losing a lot of the habitat due to peat extraction for things such as the horticultural industry, because peat is such a good growing medium. But there are other alternatives, many other alternatives, and the horticultural industry in the UK has set a deadline to stop the use of peat-based products within the next year, I think it is. So yeah, I really can't wait for that, because it's going to really help a lot of our wetland species, things like our dragonflies, damselflies. It's a good thing for the wildlife of this country. So that was nice and easy, wasn't it? It literally has taken me a couple of minutes. If I tip that forward, you can see, try and pick it up for you. Oh, that is heavy. You can see there are some nice plugs around the edge. Yeah, using soil is a bit heavier than compost as well. But this is fine. This is how they're going to grow if they are sown into many of the fields around here. In the field over the back of this hedge, there is a field of sugar beet, but between here and the Lincolnshire Fens, there are many fields of cabbages, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. So it's really good for the white butterflies in general. So I have high hopes of them laying on these very plants. That, and the fact that I have seen all 3 species already within the garden when there is practically no nectar for them. This plot that is just over an acre has very little in the way of nectar sources. It's mostly just grass, and it has been managed as mown grass for a long time. So I'm really trying hard to encourage more species, hence the planting arrangement behind me. And I will be looking to plant this border up with some really good pollinated plants for butterflies, bees, moths, hoverflies, and I will be doing another video on this in a video to come. And if you haven't done so already, I would strongly recommend subscribing to this channel and hitting that notification bell, because I will be producing many more videos. I've made over 400 so far on the channel of all the different ways in which you can help wildlife in your own garden. There's some topics I've still yet to cover, so stay tuned for those, but there will be a whole wealth of my 20 years of knowledge coming to you in the form of many different videos. So the only thing left to do now is give these plants a good drink. And I've just dug out my 500-year-old watering can. It's not really. From the depths of the garden. Had this one for a while. I do love it. I do love a metal watering can. Plastic ones are great, but you can't beat the old metal ones. And do give them a good drench. An inch of water is likely to travel about 8 to 9 inches down into the bottom of a pot. So this pot is about 12 inches of soil, so a good couple of inches on top of that should suffice. Let that soak in. And do put this in a sunny spot, because butterflies are warm loving creatures, or should I say heat loving creatures. So they rely on the sun's warmth to warm up. So they're going to prefer to fly in sunny conditions and certainly sunny spots. So put this on your patio, on your balcony. It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to have a big garden. Even if you have 5 square meters of garden, you can still plant one of these and help the local butterfly populations and insect populations in general, because once this marjoram gets going, it's going to really provide a lot of nectar for a lot of different insects. So I can't wait, and obviously I'm going to keep you all posted. As soon as I see something, even sniffing at these, I'll have my camera out and be filming it, and be sure to bring you an update as to how these develop, because I absolutely can't wait to see them when they do arrive, because I know they will for a fact. So thank you so much for watching. I hope today's video has inspired you to go out and create your own little larval food plant pot, along with a bit of a nectar source as well, a one-stop shop for your local butterfly species. I will be doing more on this series in terms of what you can plant within pots to help butterflies and other insects, because of course there is a wealth of information out there and a wealth of different plants that we can be using to create these little mini habitats. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, stay wild, and I'll see you all very soon.